guess what? Today we are off to our camping trip, and I am very excited because I have never been camping before. This is very new to me. I've been hiking, I've been rock climbing, but never camping. See you guys when we get to our next checkpoint.
You must be wondering, where is Idyllwild? Well, it is located in the San Jacinto, California mountains, 5,000 feet above sea level. The elevation caused my bottle of nail polish to pop and leak, which did make me a bit carsick on the way up. It is famous for being one of the first towns to elect a dog for mayor. This trip was special for 3 reasons. 1, it was Richard's birthday. 2, it was the first time using our new canvas tent. Can you tell? And 3, it was my first ever camping trip. What did Richard want for his birthday, you might ask? To see Bigfoot. If only there was some way to make that wish come true. Oh well, at least it ain't raining. But of course, we didn't go alone. We also brought our Redfoot tortoise Elliot with us, and we'll be seeing more of him later. But you're probably wondering, when about are we gonna see some artwork on this trip? Now don't you worry, we will. But first, a tour.
Inside the tent now. We are finished setting up the tent, and the air mattress and the bed is dressed. It is very supportive and firm, and we are out on an adventure. I'm really excited about it. I can't wait to show you around. We're gonna finish setting everything up. I'll be right back. That's right, folks. It continued to rain overnight, but happy to report that the canvas tent proved very adept for wet weather, and everything on the inside was able to stay completely dry. Before we get into the sketchbook, let me first apologize for the video quality. Mistakes were made, lessons were learned, and it'll get better the more often I do this, I promise. That said, the first thing I wanted to draw after setting up camp were these red trees that reminded me of crab legs. Maybe it's the mixture of red and white colors on the branches. Maybe it's the spidery way they branched out from the roots in the ground, or a combination of the two. But these bare branched trees definitely stood out from the air quote normal trees. And I really wanted to draw them, so here we are. I didn't pack very much, so I have my mechanical pencils, my variable sizes of brush pens, some white Rolly gel pens, an eraser, and a green and blue Papermate felt pen. Spoiler alert, those were not enough colors, but we'll find a way to rectify that later. These trees were particularly abundant on the campgrounds where we were staying, literally on the lots themselves. I had a lane of them right outside my tent window to look at and pull inspiration from. And I've chosen to draw this page in pencil rather than using the inks, which we'll see on the right side of the page soon, because I did not want anything to bleed through the left page onto the artwork that is already sketched on the back of that page. That is also going to play a role in why I color this side the way that I do later on. Not only do I not have the right colors to begin with, namely red, considering I do technically have white via the white gel pens, but I also do not want to color in ink because it would still bleed through to the back of the page, which is already drawn on. Instead, I'll color this at home with colored pencils, which is great for me because I just got some Prisma-colored pencils that I can't wait to try. Good news is for you, you'll get to see the final result much sooner since we are going to just time skip and edit that into the video after the shopping montage, but more about that later. The next subject to grace these pages is going to be our redfoot tortoise Elliot, and for everyone's peace of mind, just going to put this out there. No, we did not leave him outside in the rain. Yes, we did bring him inside to sleep in the warm and dry tent. We kept his pet carrier at the end of the bed, and after this trip we're inspired to get him a pet playpen so that he'd have plenty of room to stretch out and wander around next time we decide to take him on a journey with us. That's not to say he was cooped up the whole time. When we left the tent, he left the tent with us and had lots of opportunities to walk around and explore. For his drawing, I'm simplifying the shapes a little bit, drawing a square for his head and rounding out the cheeks and brow bones, a rounded edge square for the shell as well, before doubling back to add in more details. Probably my favorite part of this drawing was the feet. I've always thought torii feet were so cool because it's not every animal that has a stumpy little nub for feet. Even the tortoise's toenails are a bit boxy, which was kind of fun to draw. Redfoot tortoises have red scaly bits on their feet, hence the name, but in the interest of simplicity, I did not draw those details. Given my limited color palette, this likeness of Elliot turned into more of an Avatar, the Way of Water, tortoise-like creature rather than a red-footed one anyway. But I still tried to stay true to the pattern of his facial markings and the geometry of his hard shell to the best of my ability. Redfoot tortoises have dark-colored, loaf-shaped carapaces, which is the back shell with a lighter patch in the middle of each shoot, or scales on the shell. And I tried eyeballing the spacing for those in my rough sketch, before realizing that maybe, just maybe, the shell was looking a little squished, hence the pinching motion with my hand. And I didn't want to regret drawing his shell the wrong size for his body, so I erased the outer edge and redrew it a little more spaciously. Once I had everything where I wanted it on the page, I switched over to the microline calligraphy and brush pens, starting with the extra small size calligraphy pen to outline the face, body, and shell. I do revert back to the pencil briefly just to define the shell shoots a little better before continuing with the inking process, so you will see that come back out again, but only for a moment. Elliot has been a part of our family since around 2013 and is estimated to be approximately 12 years old. His species of tortoise can live to be 50 years old, so there's a chance we could be grumpy old, get off my lawn companions 38 more years from now. I'm also surprised at how well the paper is holding up, considering this book has been through not one, but two liquid spills. The coffee spill that had already left its mark when I first brought this sketchbook out as a travel sketchbook, and now the water bath it went through when a water jug was knocked and pulled into the folding chair that my book just happened to be in at the time that it poured out. You know that saying Bob Ross made famous? We don't make mistakes, just happy accidents. Well, let's just consider this one of those happy accidents. Besides, after the book was left out to dry in the sun, it was a little more crinkly, but nonetheless ready for making art. and is by no means another excuse for me to buy even more sketchbooks. All of that said, I did want to make this page more representative of this location and specific camping experience. And one of the unique, outstanding things we learned on this trip was that the San Jacinto Mountains have some of the largest pine cones in the world. 2 species, in fact. One known as the giant sugar pine cone, which is rather tall and lengthy, and the other known as the couture pine, aka widowmakers, which are rather rotund and can weigh up to 11 pounds. On our hiking trail, we saw examples of each of these, and I made the mistake of picking up one of the sugar cones, which was very sticky, with a tacky syrup-like substance that got all over my hands, and which I then wiped all over my pants. So be warned, don't pick these up. They're going to leave their mark on you. The one I'm drawing in this video is much smaller by comparison, as this one we found on our lot, and I chose it because I had a video of Elliot curiously checking it out. I think he enjoyed seeing a lot of new and unusual things on this trip. While this might not be the biggest cone from our trip, I guess you could say it's the most sentimental. And now we're starting to see that unorthodox color palette I mentioned earlier. Well, this wouldn't have been my first choice. I have to say, I don't hate it, especially once I get to the whiteout outline that helps to separate the 2 colors. Despite being the first time I've drawn Elliot, I'm really happy with the way this turned out. I didn't really know what to expect when I first started, especially as someone who mainly draws humanoid characters and is less experienced at drawing animals. But I have to admit, I managed to surprise myself with this one, especially when it comes to the shell and the semi-intricate pattern of rivets, or my interpretation of them at least. I finished this off with the thicker brush pen, adding a bolder outline to the tortoise to help it stand out a bit more, and the rest I'll save for later. This amateur drive-by footage from my car window does not do the town of Idyllwild justice. It is so cute, and the weather is so nice. I wish I could have done a better job capturing it. I wasn't feeling brave enough to film inside the shops. However, I believe this is the gift shop that may have been where I got my furry bone figurines from that I keep on my desk. If you go to Idyllwild, definitely check out the Village Lane. There is something mystical about the shopping center, and it reminded me a lot of Diagon Alley from Harry Potter. Also some really cool places to see in the Fort Shopping Center too. But now it is time to wrap things up with a few stills of Richard and I grabbing coffee, and of course, this 6,000 feet high view of the mountains. Not surprisingly, tearing down the tent was much easier than putting it up. So if it seems like this is flying by, it is, and not just because it's a time-lapse video. Like I said earlier, I took my sketchbook back home to finish coloring with a more diverse array of colors. As far as first-time experiences go, this camping trip was certainly one of the best, and I can't wait to go camping again soon. Wait! Do not leave yet. I haven't shown you the final colored images, so here they are. Idyllwild 2022 camping trip with our images from the sketchbook session. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more like this, let me know down in the comments, subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you next time.